You've been asking why. Why this happened? Why that didn't work out? Why the door closed? Why the person left? Why the opportunity fell through? Why you've been so faithful and yet things still feel so hard? And the not knowing, the confusion, the uncertainty has been eating at you. You've been trying to make sense of things that don't seem to make any sense at all. And it's left you questioning everything: your calling, your purpose, your faith, even God Himself. I need you to hear this. Everything is about to make sense, not because you're going to get all the answers at once, but because you're about to see the bigger picture that you couldn't see from where you were standing. And when you see it, you're going to understand that every single thing that felt like it was going wrong was actually going right. It just wasn't going the way you expected or wanted it to go. If you're watching this right now, it's because you're in that in-between place. You're not where you used to be, but you're not where you're going yet. You're in the transition, the waiting room, the hallway between two rooms. And it's uncomfortable, it's confusing, it's lonely, because you can't go back to who you were, but you can't step forward into who you're becoming until God says it's time. Here's what I need you to understand. God's timing is not random, it's strategic. And the delay you've been experiencing is not because God forgot about you. It's because He's orchestrating something so precise, so specific, so perfectly aligned with His master plan that if even one piece moved too early or too late, the whole thing would fall apart. He's not making you wait to punish you. He's making you wait to position you. You've been faithful through things that should have broken you. You've kept going when you had every reason to quit. You've kept believing when the evidence was screaming at you to give up. And it's felt like your faithfulness hasn't been producing results. But that's not true. Your faithfulness has been producing something you can't see yet. It's been building character. It's been developing endurance. It's been refining your trust. And all of that is going to matter when what God has for you finally shows up. Let me tell you something about the confusion you've been feeling. Confusion is not always a bad sign. Sometimes confusion is a sign that you're transitioning from one level to another. Your mind hasn't caught up to where your spirit is going. Your understanding hasn't expanded yet to hold the vision God is giving you. And that gap between what you know and what God knows creates disorientation. But disorientation is temporary. Clarity is coming. There's a reason why certain things in your life had to fall apart. That relationship that ended, that job you lost, that opportunity that didn't work out. At the time, it felt like loss. It felt like failure. It felt like rejection. But what if I told you that those were not losses? What if I told you that those were rescues? God saw something you couldn't see. He saw the trap. He saw the dead end. He saw the pain that was waiting for you down that road. And He loved you enough to block it before you walked into it. You've also been wondering why certain people left your life. People you thought would be there forever. People you trusted. People you invested in. And their departure hurt. It still hurts. But here's what God wants you to know. Not everyone is meant to go with you into your next season. Some people were only assigned to a chapter, not the whole book. And when their purpose in your life is complete, God removes them. Not to hurt you, but to make room for the people who are supposed to be there for what's coming next. Here's what's about to happen. In the next few weeks, you're going to start seeing the pieces come together. Things that didn't make sense before are going to suddenly click. Doors that closed are going to reveal why they had to close. People who left are going to show you why they couldn't stay. And opportunities that didn't work out are going to make way for something better than what you originally wanted. But here's the hard part. You're going to have to trust the process even when you can't see the progress. You're going to have to believe that God is working even when you can't see the evidence. You're going to have to hold on to faith even when your feelings are telling you to let go. because the moment you give up is often the moment right before the breakthrough. The enemy knows that. That's why he attacks you hardest right before your shift. Let me tell you what God has been doing while you've been waiting. He's been preparing you for something bigger than what you've been praying for. You've been asking for one thing, but He's been setting up something else, something better, something that requires more maturity, more strength, more faith than you had when you first started praying. And that's why the wait has been necessary. You're not the same person you were when you started this journey. You've grown, you've changed, you've been refined, and now you're ready for what you weren't ready for before. There's also something God has been protecting you from during this waiting season. Distractions, detours, counterfeits. The enemy has been trying to give you cheap substitutes for what God has promised you. Relationships that looked right but weren't aligned. Opportunities that seemed good but would have taken you off course. And God has been blocking those things because He knows that if you settle for less than what He has for you, you'll regret it later. Here's what I need you to do starting today. Stop trying to figure everything out. Stop trying to force clarity. Stop demanding that God explain Himself. Just trust Him. Trust that He knows what He's doing. Trust that He sees what you can't see. Trust that He's working behind the scenes even when it looks like nothing is happening. Because the moment you release control and surrender to His timing, things start moving in ways you couldn't move them yourself. In the next 24 hours, I want you to write down 3 things that have confused you. 3 situations that don't make sense. 3 questions you've been asking God. Write them down. And then I want you to say this prayer over each one. God, I don't understand this, but I trust you. I release my need to know why. I release my need to control the outcome. I surrender this situation into your hands, and I believe that when the time is right, you will reveal what I need to know. Pray that over each situation, and then let it go. Stop replaying it in your mind. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop losing sleep over it. Trust that God has it, and watch what happens when you release it. Watch how the weight lifts. Watch how the clarity comes. Watch how the peace settles in places where you've been anxious. Everything is about to make sense. Not all at once, but piece by piece, you're going to start seeing the bigger picture. You're going to start connecting dots that seemed random before. You're going to start understanding why things happened the way they did. And when you see it, you're going to be so grateful that God didn't give you what you wanted when you wanted it, because what He's giving you now is so much better. The confusion you're feeling is temporary. The clarity is coming. And when it comes, you're going to look back at this season and realize that the waiting wasn't wasted. It was necessary. It was purposeful. It was part of the plan. And everything that felt like it was falling apart was actually falling into place. Trust God's timing, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it's taking longer than you expected, even when it looks like nothing is happening. Because God is never late. He's never early. He's always right on time. And His timing is perfect, even when it doesn't feel like it. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your answers are coming. Your clarity is on the way. And everything that's been confusing you is about to make perfect sense. Hold on just a little longer, because what God is about to reveal is going to blow your mind and confirm that He's been with you every step of the way. And when that clarity comes, when everything finally clicks into place, I want you to do something. I want you to help someone else who's in the place you're in right now. Someone who's confused, someone who's questioning God's timing, someone who feels like nothing makes sense. Share your story with them. Tell them how you waited and how God came through, because your testimony could be the thing that keeps them from giving up right before their breakthrough. God doesn't waste any experience. He's going to use everything you went through, including the confusion and the waiting, to help someone else. That's how the kingdom works. We receive so we can give. We are helped so we can help others. We are comforted so we can comfort. Your season of confusion is creating your future ministry of encouragement. So embrace this season. Don't rush through it. Let it do its complete work in you. Because on the other side of this confusion is a clarity so profound, a faith so strong, and a testimony so powerful that it will carry you through every future storm. Everything will make sense soon. And when it does, you'll be grateful for every confusing moment because you'll see how it all worked together to bring you to exactly where you needed to be. I want to give you one more encouragement about this season of confusion. It's actually a gift in disguise. It's forcing you to trust God at a deeper level than ever before. It's pushing you to lean on Him instead of your own understanding. And that deeper trust, that stronger faith, is exactly what you're going to need for where He's taking you next. So don't despise the season of not knowing. Embrace it. Let it do its work in you. Let it build a foundation of trust that can't be shaken by circumstances. Because when everything finally makes sense and you see the full picture, you're going to have a testimony that will encourage countless others who are walking through their own season of confusion. One more thing. The confusion you're experiencing right now is often God's way of keeping you dependent on Him. If everything made sense, if you could figure it all out on your own, you wouldn't need Him. But God wants you to need Him. He wants you to lean on Him. He wants you to trust Him even when you can't see the way forward. Because that kind of trust is what unlocks the deepest levels of intimacy with Him. So instead of fighting the confusion, trying to force clarity that isn't ready to come yet, what if you just rested in the not knowing? What if you trusted that God has it all figured out even when you don't? What if you believed that His plan is better than anything you could plan for yourself? That kind of surrender, that kind of trust, that's what positions you to receive everything He has for you. And here's what I've learned about God's timing. It's always perfect. Always. Even when it doesn't feel like it. Even when it looks like He's late. Even when you think He's forgotten. He's never late. He's never early. He's always precisely on time. And when His timing manifests, when the breakthrough comes, when the clarity arrives, you're going to look back and see that if it had come any earlier, you wouldn't have been ready. If it had come any later, the impact wouldn't have been as great. God's timing is strategic, it's intentional, it's calculated, and it's always working in your favor, even when it feels like it's working against you. So trust it. Even when you don't understand it, even when it frustrates you, even when you wish things would move faster, trust that the God who loves you is orchestrating everything for your good and for His glory. Everything will make sense soon. The pieces are already coming together. The clarity is already on the way. And the breakthrough is already in motion. Just hold on. Keep trusting, keep believing, and watch what God does when you refuse to give up, even when nothing makes sense. Your moment of clarity is coming, and it's going to be worth every moment of confusion you endured to get there. Trust God's timing. It's perfect, even when it doesn't feel like it. Your breakthrough is here. Everything will make sense. Just watch. One final thought. The season you are in right now, this season of confusion and waiting and not knowing, is not your final season. This is not where your story ends. This is just a chapter, and every chapter serves a purpose in the larger narrative of your life. This chapter is building something in you that the next chapter requires. So don't try to skip it. Don't try to rush through it. Live it fully. Learn from it deeply. And trust that when this chapter closes, the next one is going to be better than you ever imagined. I also want you to understand that the waiting, the confusion, the not knowing, all of it is preparing you to steward the blessing when it comes. Because blessings that come too early often get mishandled. Resources that show up before you're ready often get wasted. Opportunities that manifest before you're mature enough often get fumbled. God is protecting you from the danger of premature blessing by making you wait until you're truly ready. So the delay isn't denial. The wait isn't rejection. The confusion isn't abandonment. It's all preparation. It's all positioning. It's all part of the process of getting you ready for something bigger and better than what you've been asking for. And when it finally manifests, when it all comes together, when everything makes sense, you're going to be so grateful that God didn't give you what you wanted when you wanted it. Because what He's giving you now is exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. The confusion is temporary, the clarity is eternal, and your breakthrough is guaranteed. Everything will make sense soon. Trust the process, trust the timing, and trust the God who's orchestrating it all. Your confusion is turning into clarity, your waiting is turning into breakthrough, and your faith is about to become sight. Everything will make sense. Just hold on.